Good morning.
Good morning, everyone watching, and we're happy to be here again. Another wonderful conversation with special guests. How are you, Tammy, and how are you, Eva?
I'm good. Thanks, Lori. How are you?
I'm great. We've been rolling with the punches, right? Activities, traveling, excitement, holiday events, but we're here. We're here
I
for
know
you.
it feels strange because we took some time off and we'll be taking
Mhm.
some more time off here at Christmas. But which was great. I got to enjoy some sunshine. I posted a few photos. I was behind on photos, I know. But I want to say hi to Eva, our special guest. Welcome, Eva.
Hi, I'm privileged to be here. Thank you very much for having me.
And Eva, can you tell us where you're coming from?
So, I live in the UK, but originally I'm from Hungary. I was born in Hungary, and then I live here for nearly 21 years now.
Yeah, I hear you. It's like me. We kind of have dual citizenship, but we're all citizens of the world, but it's just fun when you're born and raised somewhere and then and life throws you somewhere else, right?
Yeah, and some people say they don't have a home, and I said, no, I have two.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. I agree with that one. So Eva is an amazing human being. She loves nature too, like Tammy and I, and she does interesting things to help people in their healing journey. And we want to definitely hear more about that and about her and what got her to that pathway. So thank you for being here, Eva. And Tammy always have great questions to start with.
Well, I know Eva actually has two children, right, Eva? Is that
Mhm.
correct? And we're going to start with, because it's kind of funny, is I was looking at her bio and stuff, and I was like, oh, she loves horses. I love horses. So Eva, let's start there on your journey. What got you into the horses and tell us a little
So
bit about.
the horses were long time ago in my actually teenage years. I started. I don't even know where did it come from. There was just a stable at the end of the road, and then I started horse riding, and then I got. I just I spent most of my time there, and then that was secondary school time, and then a stable opened up, and then with a girl we adopted a horse, so we had it together. We kept the horse together, and just from the school horses you buy off and just save them kind of, so they're not gonna go and work that many hours with the kids. So we adopted and bought the horse, and then we kept it together. So I spent my so many years, I think 4, 5, 6 years with in the stable. That's the university years, right? So I didn't go to the proper daytime university. I went to the correspondence course when you do
Yeah.
twice a month
Online?
at the
Long
weekend.
distance. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I could spend my days in the stable. So yeah. And
So
then
what
it
was
was
it that
just
you found about the horses? Tell us about kind of the therapy and what you liked and the best thing you liked doing with the horses. So,
so I think my love to nature started there. So I wasn't training inside with the horses. All we enjoyed is just going out to the forest on those trails. That's that's what that was horse riding to me. And even now, if I go somewhere horse riding, it's not the same because you go in a group, they tell you what to do. Now we're trotting, now we're galloping. Da. It's not like you just go however you want to go, how it used to be. But yeah, just being there, just being out and just enjoying being
Before
out and being free.
Yeah, that's where, like before the
Yeah.
conversation, we were having like a little bit of a preliminary conversation. And when she says, just riding into the forest because that's where freedom is. And that's the
Yeah.
part that we're very interested in, painting the picture of what is it that you like Tommy was asking, like, imagine yourself or paint us that picture for those that we haven't had that experience. The only time I've done that, it's been in New York, in New Mexico, sorry, like you said, with a group, follow this line, go, and that was my first experience. I loved it, but certainly I wish it would
It's
be
not the
more
same.
freely,
Yeah.
right? Like you're describing it. So what is it that you love about that? And how was it that it helped you or impact you?
So to be honest, I still do the same without the horse. So we live next to Epping Forest. It's a really big forest here. And then I do go out, walk, run. And as I said earlier, it's just my mental health, really. It's just
Mm.
when I don't go for a while, I just really crave it. It's just, and sometimes the kids comes with me, but even if they don't come, it's just being out and listening to just the nature. And then some people say, "Oh, you crazy? You're going when it's raining." Seriously, I went once, and then I was just stopping and listening to the rain in the puddle,
Mm.
which might sound stupid to someone, but it's just I can't explain it. It's just the calmness and the peace, and there are loads of these around here. So I always see these squirrels and all these animals. It's just I don't know. It's so uplifting for me.
So I'm going to paint a picture of my last horse riding experience. So as I was telling you, I grew up riding horses. My grandparents had horses on each of their ranches, and my friends had horses. So I would help train or ride horses with them. And, but one of my friends that she lived in Virginia at the time, she lives in Hawaii now, but she is an incredible horse trainer. And her horses just are the most.
So Tammy kind of froze, but I remember her also explaining it to us before.
And we
Oh,
spent the entire day riding horses. There's just nothing, we just left her place and she had permission because was friends with all the neighbors. So we were able to ride through those ranches and through the meadows and just this spent a whole day riding horses. And, like you said, you listen to the birds, all you hear is the plodding of the hooves, or you hear the horses breathing. And we were laughing and just had an amazing time, but when you ride horses, there is just something relaxing about it, because especially if you have a good horse, because the sun's beating down on you, or even if it's a little chilly, you have a jacket on. But it was a beautiful day and it was incredible. Like, we rode through like cattle, cattle ranch and stuff. So it was amazing. It was through the hillside. And I remember that's how we did it growing up, is either riding on the ranch, around the ranch, or we would ride in the hills or the forest. And like you,
Mm.
that's what I love about riding horses. I am not as much as a jumper, even though I have done it before, but I love just spending the time in nature. And you can do it whether you're on a horse or you're just walking, like Eva said, with going to the forest that's next to her. So, how many out there of you have horses? That's a question.
yeah, or have had experiences with them, good experiences with them, healing experiences even. Or like Eva says, just without a
They do
horse,
a,
you
they do a
go,
lot of therapies, like movement
Yes.
therapies on horses. Yeah. And I think it's part of it must be that you sit in the horse and you are just feeling the body and you know what I mean? How
Yes.
you sit on the horse, you are just kind of together.
It's kind of like, yeah, because it's horse therapy. My friend that trained the horses I rode with used to do that for kids. That especially if they're autistic or had problems, or people with anxiety, horse therapy is
Yeah.
actually very, very good for them because it gets them to thinking about something else besides their anxiety. And some horses are like a big puppy dog. I remember when my granddaughter got her horse, Nico, we went over and he's a huge gypsy, which is like a Clydesdale, but he followed her around like a puppy dog. Anywhere she go, he's out there. Or if I go over to their place, their horse is like, oh, someone's here. Let's go and see.
You
Their
do build a connection for sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So has anybody here that's watching ever done horse therapy? That's another question.
No, and I'm researching right now because I'm so curious. It's called hippotherapy, like hippopotamus, hippo, because it means horse, and it started in Hippocrates times. And then it says that the like Eva was saying, the rhythmic movement stimulates at anterior and posterior swinging movements, and that encourages the
It's very
rider
good.
to achieve proper balance and posture. Um, it's
It's
just
not
very
just the postures,
sensory.
yeah, and for the brain as well, those movements are just, and plus the connection with the animal is very healing. I have a friend, we used to ride together at that place, and then they just created a place uh where they just do this. They are having disabled and problematic kids, and they just doing the therapy for them, and it's just amazing. They
That
can help a lot.
it
Oh,
helps more than people realize. It's a great
Yes.
therapy.
it says physical and educational therapists have used the movements of the horse for the cure of the patient, while psychologists and mental health therapists benefit from the horse's mobility so as to achieve or increase compliance of the patients. The horse's pelvis movement imitates the human pelvis movement and is very rhythmical. Oh, it's just so fascinating. It's fascinating, and it just proves to us how nature plays such an important role. And that's like Tammy was saying, share your horse experiences, um, but also think about the benefits of nature, the benefits of going out into the forest. Like I say all the time, and I'm repeating, I live in the middle of the city, but there's like a little oasis, is what I call it, where there's a trail with a lot of trees. And I'm so glad our city did that because when I don't have time for anything else, life is crazy. I just go there and it's just an escape and it makes a big difference. Like Eva says, like
Yeah.
I can feel nature. I can be one in nature, like Renee was saying, like, wow, the forest, the trees, the sounds of the birds, and just giving ourselves times to, Tammy was saying to hear the horses breathing and all that, but how about our own breathing too? Sometimes we don't even have time or we're not even aware
Yeah.
of the rhythm of our breathing. Except for when we're hyperventilating or when we're just gasping for air because we're so stressed or exhausted. So it's just lots to think. Eva, thanks for sharing these experiences with horses, and Tammy, you too.
Oh, of course. My pleasure. So, Eva, let's continue with your story. So, since we interrupted you, so
That's
where did you go
okay.
from the horses to where you're at now?
Yeah, what is it that you do
So the
now?
so that was, yeah, back on my 20s, and then that's when we moved. I went to work in the Caribbean on a cruise ship for 7 months. That's when I was 23. It was just experience to see the world, which was good. And then after, I still wanted to go somewhere. So this is when I moved to the UK with my partner then. And then I had both of the kids were born here. I've done various jobs, started in catering, then I've done travel industry, which I really love, organizing traveling. That was really good. And then I had the two kids. And then I started different kind of jobs during the kids just to be able to be a mom as well as earning the money. And then I had a business which COVID and Brexit stopped. So then that's when I met, it was 2020 when I met something called Meridian Diagnostics. So it's a health check, which is based on, I don't know if anyone knows the meridian lines going through the body, energy channels. So what we do is, it's just a not just, it's a health check where you get a picture of your inside organs and how are they working and what direction your body is heading. This is what is me all about now. It's me, I'm helping. I always want to help. And this, I think life just gave me a tool how I can get connected to people and help them health-wise. So it's based on.
So
Go
what do
on.
they use to take pictures of the insides of the body? Do they use
No,
CAT
no, no. So
scans?
no.
How is it done?
I measure the energy flowing on 24 points around your wrist and your ankles. So it's nothing inside. It's like a pen connected to a computer. So the origin of this goes back to the space travel. So when they sent people up to space, they were making their spacesuit to touch them on these points so they could watch their health from the grounds, right? So after the Chinese people took this away and they measured tens of thousands of people and they put the Western medications diagnoses together with what they measured. So now when I measure someone, so all I do is I touch 24 points. These are the points what acupressure and acupuncture using. This is where that energy is going closest to the surface so you can measure. So when I take the data, I measure someone, I take the data, it goes to a server in China and it comes back with your meridian map, which shows your certain organs and it shows if it's overworking, underworking, or what about happening.
Well, it definitely needs to be presential, right? It's not like you can do something like that in long distance or virtual.
No, no,
And
no. Yeah.
it has to be presential. So in person, right? So then as soon as you said meridian, that's exactly what I thought about. I thought of acupuncture and
Mm.
pressure points. So here on the wrist is where you're indicating that there's a lot of information that you can gather from our pulse.
So it's just the points which is around your wrist and your ankles. There are certain points for your large intestine. So these are massage points as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yes. And then you get your meridian map and then it's good for people who, there are many people who has an issue and they go doctors to doctors and they can't find the reason
So
and they don't
diagnose.
know why is, yeah. And Western medication, what they do is just treating the symptoms. What we do is look at the cause of the problem and we treat the cause, right? So it can help that way. And it also helps for people. It is very preventative. So when I got it done first, I went to a health conference and then everyone was getting it done. And then I said, I'm good. I'm all good. It's nothing wrong. And then the person explained to me that between symptoms, I mean, if you're lacking on something and something is going wrong, it can take 5, 10, 15 years for your symptoms to come up.
Mm.
So if you see what's happening inside before you get a symptom, then you're more likely to change it and you can change it. So you're not going to end up with the symptoms. I don't know if it makes sense, does it?
Yeah,
As
because
have I
it
explained?
happens in America too. Like the people prescribe and only it scratches the surface, not what's underneath the
Exactly.
surface. So you go beyond that, and then that's
So,
the
for example, if
information.
someone has eczema, right, you get a steroid cream, it will take your symptoms away, but
Hmm.
something is causing it. And if you not getting to the bottom of it, it will come back.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
So
skin,
have they
skin
ever
issues, skin
compared
issues is
these?
always gone.
So have they ever compared these or done studies to make sure that it's accurate? And so I'm sure there have, but I'm asking this because I'm sure
If
people in
I
the
if
audience
I
are.
do yours and then I read things and then I start asking questions, this is how it gets weird, right? So I can read out, not me, but once you understand the whole thing, you can see a lot of things. So I can tell you that you're not sleeping well. And then I ask questions like, oh, is your knee hurting? And when I ask a couple of things and they said, oh, yeah, how do you know that? You know what I mean? Then you will understand it's very accurate.
And when there's
Yeah.
already a diagnose, what can you do with that diagnose? You can just say, hey, you've been diagnosed with this, but if you do this other thing.
So I'm not a doctor, right? So that I don't
Hmm.
diagnose. I'm just saying that this is happening in your body. I can see if your body is acidic, for example. Acidic environment is no good. We all have cell growth. When you have acidic environment inside, that's where you're gonna have the not good cell growth, which no
For
one
cancer.
wants.
Hmm.
Yes. So when you see your body is acidic, number one is to make it alkaline. and just do something about that. So you're not going to have a bad cell growth. But what we do is we give recommendation on nutrition, and that's including everything what you take into your body, and that includes your salts as well, the oxygen, the fresh oxygen you breathe in, what you read, who you spend time with, all that stuff, and the nutriment itself. And then we give massage points. So just practical tips where you can massage yourself, which would help.
Definitely very
Exercise,
holistic, very
sleeping.
holistic. You see
Yes.
it, the whole picture, and you gave recommendation. I loved it that we also were, when we were talking backstage, she said that that's some of the prescriptions she recommends is go on walks in nature. I love
So
that.
every time, yes, there are so many people, I'm not saying depressed, but like mentally not right. And then every time, this is part of my recommendations, is to go out and walk outside in nature, in the forest. I mean, where we live, when I do it locally here, is always nature. You'll find it everywhere, wherever you are. It doesn't matter which country, which continent, you find it, right? And just to
Yes.
go out and spend time there. And it doesn't have to be exercise is run or anything like that. Even if you just walking helps a lot of things.
Yeah, well, they recommend most doctors recommend walking over running and jogging because it doesn't hurt your joints, you
Or
know?
your spine, your lower
Yeah.
back, your discs. So, Eva, what's been a very interesting case study, like a miraculous, or, and I know, I understand you said the disclaimer, you're not a doctor, you don't diagnose, but my question was also like when there was a diagnosis by a doctor, have you been able to confirm, not to confirm, but see deeper than those symptoms to help that client, that person that goes to you with a diagnosis that already somebody did, a doctor. And the reason I'm asking, I'm thinking of our beautiful friend KSL. She's in the UK, and I wonder, she already has a diagnosis. She talks about it and everything freely, but I'm just wondering if there's a diagnosis already, if you could help someone.
So what we say is Chinese medicine is always saying is always one more solution than problem. So when we say whatever you see, it doesn't matter. We're not there to scare people. It's just obviously when I say something, I do have to say it out. And this is where Renee's communication came in last time. You know what I mean? I have to be in a position to say it the way where it's encouraging. And we
Mm-hmm.
just explain this is just a state of you now,
Mm-hmm.
and it can always change. And I'm not saying curing,
Yeah.
but for example, in China, right, if for cancer, they not necessarily do the chemo for them. What they do is they send them back to like an apple farm and make them to pick apples from trees. No, seriously. And
Wow.
you're laughing, but it would
No,
heal
it's
them because
Yeah, that's
if you
cool.
think about it, you get sick in the environment in what you do and how you live.
yeah.
So as long as you change that and you put yourself out to a completely different environment, different stress, different effects around you, and you do different, you get a different result.
Yeah,
Well,
that makes
and
sense.
it doesn't surprise
So
me
you
because
know
I
when
was watching an episode where like elder people in China, they were actually having them go to college and redoing stuff because they said because that helps their minds so they don't get the dementia and Alzheimer's and stuff. So it was
it's
interesting.
very true. You know, I get people and they just keep saying to me, I know this is good for me and I'm doing this. And I said, okay, you do whatever you like. It's so this is the diagnostics. I'm not curing or treating anyone. I can tell you what I see, and then I can give you options and suggestions what could help you. But there are people who are very stubborn and, oh, I do this and I know it's good for you. I said, listen, if you want to do that, you do that. I said, you just see this is what it created. So your body is like this by doing what you're doing. So if you want a different result, you have to do something different.
That makes
And when
sense.
I get to this point, yeah, they understand. I mean, they come with a problem, most of them. And then, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get the same result, right?
The
Right.
definition of insanity. And so tell me more if you know a little bit more about the cancer patients in China. They send them to pick apples to farms
So
for a
it's
long.
just an example. Yeah. So they work together. I think what they do is they have a Western doctor, like a Western medication doctor and a Chinese doctor. So for each, we all different, right? So whatever suits me might not be the same to you,
Right.
and your body reacts different. So I think that's what they do. They work together, and then whatever suits that patient, that's what they do. Plus, what I always say is, I'm not gonna prescribe something to someone because I'll give you options and see which one you resonate with. I'm not the one who tell you what is best for you. Whatever you feel is good for you. There are so many options now, so many technologies, so many products, so many ways of everything you can choose from. And it just depends which one you resonate with. But to be honest, this is so this is just a physical check, but it is a tool to get to talk to people. And then I'm seeing it more and more how much your mind and your mindset is relating to your physical body.
Yes.
And
So that's amazing.
if
I
you
think
get
it's
that
amazing
right, yeah.
because, it's like I went through so many tests, you know. Well, 67 doctors in a couple months, but that's a lot of doctors. But and that didn't count all the testing and the MRIs and the all those. And if they could narrow it down, or if like for some things it was like I know like for pinched nerves and some certain things, it took so many different tests. But if there was something more simple that would like narrow down, it's like because what people don't realize is a lot of times it's a combination. It might be a couple things that are going on. And so I love the fact that you have this new type of test, well, which really isn't new, um, that can help and work even with doctors in a way. Because like you said, for the eczema, right? Eczema,
Yeah, but it's just with anything else is
the underlying issues that's causing that,
yes.
that's what I guess I was trying to get to is what are those underlying issues that's causing that? Because a lot of times people don't realize it could be allergic reaction to something that's in your house,
Yeah, but I
whether
tell you an example, right? So every organ is related to a mood. So liver, for example, your liver is responsible for the toxins to get it out from your system, right? The people who are angry all the time, anger, even if it's to yourself or to someone else, is weakening your liver, right? Or for example, lungs. So skin issues is always related to the lungs. I mean, not always, but most of the time is lung issues. Lung is responsible for sadness and grief, right? So you can make yourself ill by grieving. When you lose someone for a year is normal, but when someone is still grieving over their partner or husband or wife's loss after 20 years, I'm telling you that person's lung is not going to be in a good condition. So when you start, I'll tell you an example. 2 weeks ago, I was in Hungary and we done the Red Cross people, they had a day when they were just doing free checkups, different checkups, blood tests, da, 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 and we were there too. And then I measured 12 people. The age was between 65 and 80, right? They were all elderly. And it's just a talk. I was talking to them. So some of them I didn't even have to look on the map. And we just started to talk. And this is what it gives me, right? So I don't know how to explain this, but I just felt after that I was an positive impact for the day. And the chat we had is questioning as you were talking about it the other day or the other week with someone. It's just asking the right questions. It's not me to tell you what to do. It's me asking you questions and make you realize what would make you change for you Does it make sense?
Yes.
And then they were elderly people, which was really nice that they were all open for this. And then just talking, and then from laughing and crying together, seeing them for the first time, and then see them realize what they're doing, causing them what it's causing. And that's it. I'm not saying they're healed, but after that, if they do realize, not me telling them, but they realizing and they make a change, then they are done, right? So I will go back and see them again in spring. They were all very open and they said they would love to do it again. And then when you see the difference in the measurements, and I've seen it on myself, when you're mentally down, when something happens, you can have a really bad map. Some of them are asking me, "Oh, you have a perfect map." No, I don't. I mean, I'm a human too. I mean, the main thing of this is just to keep the balance and the harmony in your life and not to go like two
Yeah.
extremes up and down. And when you do go up or do go down, yeah, you're not going to have a good map.
Yeah, sometimes what we do or our passion or the service we render or we offer is something that we are struggling with ourselves and we have found it as a solution and that's why we want to offer it to others. It doesn't mean that we have it all figured out and then we're doing perfect in
I
that
mean,
area.
yeah,
So
Well,
I
yeah.
totally get it.
And that's why,
we're all
Lori,
humans.
I talk so much about unlocking freedom in nature and art. It's because that's what we've used. And I know I definitely have used it for years. I
Hmm.
used it without even realizing it until I started asking myself questions. Like you said, Eva, what was the main thing that was helping to heal me more than anything? Where did I turn when my pain was so bad? It was always nature or my art,
And that's another thing
and
what
if I can
that's another
help
thing which
people,
yeah,
then that's what I would do. So,
that's another thing what I always not always, but some people I just ask them, I said, "Do you do anything for you? I mean, is there anything what you do you know what you love to do?" And some of them saying they don't even know what they're loving to do.
Oh,
And then I said, find something you love to do and do that. And that can be art. This is why I said art can be very, for a mechanic, fixing cars is not necessarily a job. Some people love doing that. It's their
right.
art. You know what I mean? But
Oh,
just find something, but which is proper art, painting or doing something properly, creating something, any creative things. It just takes your mind away. I was
right.
playing
Whether it's
puzzle when I was lost because puzzle is just, you know, it's just completely switched off my brain.
or the
yeah.
coloring books that people,
Yeah.
my one friend has a daughter that colors when she's stressed and stuff. And, those detail and coloring books are great, and the arts covers, like you said, music, dance, drawing, painting, covers so it's a large, it's not just doing one thing, it's doing anything creative because when you're doing something creative, it takes your mind off of your
Yes.
pain or off of the problems that you are having at that time. It helps calm your nerves, it calms down that anxiety levels.
Redirect that attention and energy to something different and creative and fun, hopefully. For some
Where
people,
focus
puzzle
goes, energy flows.
energy
Remember?
flows. Yes, you're right. And for people, puzzles make them more anxious because it's chaos and maybe they're already going through chaos in their lives and they don't want puzzles. So, like Tammy's mentioning all kinds of other options here. If it's not puzzles, which I agree with you, Eva, sometimes it depends on the puzzle. Oh, puzzles can be very calming to me too. And it's just, I like to organize and I like to create something that it was messy to something pretty and beautiful and organized. And that's my way. Not as beautiful as Tammy is different because she creates and produces with her hands. And me is like organizing and making something that was messy to something more organized. So it's just different for each of us, our needs, our
This
way
is
to
why I said
expressing. Mm-hmm.
I don't prescribe
Right.
anything to anyone. I ask questions. What do you like to do? because I can't tell you to play puzzles when it drives you crazy, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Well, and it's like, people don't think cooking, gardening. Some people like to quilt, knit, but like you said, Eva,
Crochet.
um, working mechanics. Sometimes people want to work on their cars or bikes because that to them is relaxing.
Yeah.
There's so many different things. It's finding that little things that
It's
you
just to find,
enjoy
yeah,
that helps to relax you. And it's not going to be like everybody else's. You may be the only one. And sometimes you just need that alone time.
Hmm.
And
as
then
well.
other times it's good to be with somebody else, that you can talk and visit and then share your feelings and what's going on. So there's that combination.
Yeah, and I think that, but Eva and Tammy, don't you think some people don't even give themselves, like Eva was saying, don't give themselves that opportunity to discover? Maybe you don't think you're gonna like puzzles, but if you don't try it, you're never gonna know, right? So trying and taking risks and being open to new experiences, giving yourself that opportunity. But we do that. We neglect ourselves. We cater, and especially in this season, if you're watching this recording at a different season right now as we're recording it, is the holiday season, is Christmas, and is all those winter celebrations that can overwhelm some people, me being one of them. I have a big family, and then it's like, what if I buy this gift and so doesn't like it? And what do I even buy to, so it comes along with, it comes with a lot of package, and we can decide how to tone it down, setting boundaries, and also not neglecting ourselves, like taking that oxygen ourselves first, because if we want others to breathe, we need to breathe ourselves too. And if we want a good season right now, we need to put ourselves first. And I am saying all this because I need to hear it from myself. So it's because we neglect ourselves, and we've been running like a headless chicken lately. I admit it right now, with all these events and traveling and all that, which can be fun. But then I need to tone it down, and then one day say, no, this is going to be me day.
Right. Well, and
So this,
sometimes, a wrench is thrown in there. You're focused, everything's going good. You have like, okay, this person wants to experience this, so I'm going to do an experience gift for them. This person likes wanted ask for this, or they were looking at this during the year. So because I'm like you, Lori, I like to get things for people because I know it's for them and it's what they enjoy. It's the colors, it's what they like. It's not for me. You have to always remind yourself it's for them, not what I would want, but what they want, what they would enjoy. But every once in a while, a wrench is thrown in, somebody gets hurt, something drastic happens, and that's when you're like, okay, it's time to take a deep breath and let's step outside, or meditate, pray, whatever it takes. I mean, I had a wrench thrown in last night, but I had good friends that I said, hey, pray for me. If I let them know, I know they're praying for me. And they did, and everything worked out great. But you just never know. Right now we are offering experiences as well. We always offer experiences. So, and you can always get gift certificates through us. If this is something that, a vacation, it's like we were on vacation down in Florida for 10 days with our kids. And we had a great time, going to the beach and just exploring new places. And I had fun. And the kids took us to, it was it's the wildlands or wetlands down in Orlando. And we walked where alligators were like 6 feet from us,
oh yeah,
you
I've seen the
know?
pictures.
And that's where I was taking pictures and taking pictures of the birds and stuff, which guess it was great. But just before we left on my trip, all my photos on my phone were erased when we were trying to upload them a computer, a special drive. And I know they're in the cloud, but still, when they're not on your phone, when I use them for my posting and stuff, it was just like, oh, great. But the good thing is I had a lot of space on my phone for taking a lot of photos. So, but it was fun going. I love going to new places and experiencing the ocean, just sitting in the sun, walking, like we were talking before this, with walking in the sand.
Freedom.
There's just something. And at one of the beaches, we were actually hunting for shark teeth. I don't know if you've ever done that before, but that was interesting and fun as well. So, but all those experiences, those just help take your mind, no matter how you're feeling at the time, help take your mind off of that. And so you're focused on that, and it gives you that pain relief. It's a pain management. So if you are dealing with pain, experiences is a great way, or if you know somebody that's dealing with pain, experiences is one of the things that helps people with pain management. So anyway, Eva, I'm sure you recommend that as well.
Yes, and then going back to put your own oxygen mask first before you help anyone else. That just came to me from all the directions. And then I'm the same. I always wanted to fix my children and then do the best for them. And then I realized then, especially if someone comes to me with a child, right, with a problem, Chinese medicine always saying the first 7 or 8 years for boys and girls are mum. So it's very interesting. But if there is a small child with an issue, I always say that I want to measure the parents and the mum first, because that child would be on mum's energy. And you can't fix the child without fixing you. And that was the same for me. I have to realize that I have to put me right. And then if you right, you all are mums, right? So
Yes.
Yeah.
when you right, your kids are right. So it
Yes.
doesn't go the other way around. So we
Yep.
do have to look after ourselves, and yes, slow down and find a way how you can manage.
Well, and that's what people don't realize is a lot of times if your kid's acting out, you need to take a look as the parent at yourself. Why are they? Because there might be something underlying there. Is your relationship with your partner or spouse good? How are you acting? Are you going through something, that they're feeling? And sometimes we don't even realize they're taking it, and it's like, what people don't realize, it's okay to know, as when you have teenagers, especially, even, that it's okay to know where they're at all the time. It's okay you need to give curfews, you need to give limits. No matter what age, you have to give set limits and different tones, and you have to help them out with chores. I just watched another survey on how chores help your child so they grow up not feeling entitled. How important it is. But going back, if you're sick, it's like, I tried so hard and I know I failed at it quite a few times. Like when I was really sick and couldn't get out of bed, how it affected my two girls when they were little, you know? And I would ask friends to come and take them, or Daryl to take them, or sometimes I would just like grin and bear it and get up and do stuff with them. Because if I wasn't there, they would act out and do something they normally never would do. But when I was there, then it was like they were just so much calmer. But it's because that worry when, mom or dad's sick or something's not, you're always working. You've heard the story where kids have been like, hey, can I pay you to stay home and spend some time with me? Um, and people don't realize, people around us, our mood. I have always loved this quote, if I can get it right here. If you may need to change, attitude is like, you can't go anywhere with a flat tire. You need to change that attitude if it's a bad attitude. And I know I messed it up, but I'll find it and I'll post it.
I liked it. Whatever you said, it makes sense, and I liked it. So definitely, Eva and Tammy, I mean, this is another great conversation with an amazing guest, helping us understand that self-care, that paying attention to ourselves and our needs. It's okay. It's not selfish. It's self-centered, meaning centering in ourselves and how to be better, rest, recover, so that then we can serve and render our services and offer our help and a lending hand and guidance to others. So Eva, thank you so much. I have a couple of questions because I know time is of the essence and time goes by so fast when we're having fun, and you have been a great guest. I want to know if there's a way that we could self-assess, or definitely someone like you with your preparation, it's the one that needs to help, or if there's a way that we can self-assess with those points. And also, where can people find you in the UK? Maybe what's the city or location that you can tell our audience in case there's somebody from that area that want to find you and go and
I
pay
mean,
a visit.
I'm just outside London, so the
Okay.
north part of London. But I do have, there's a few people in England who does it. So the origin of this comes from a lady who is a Hungarian lady, and her husband is a proper Chinese doctor. So they took this device into Hungary and they were teaching many of us. So in Hungary, many people are doing this. But even in the UK, it's me. There is a guy up in Manchester way.
Okay.
So if anyone is interested, just get in touch with me and then I can connect you to someone. And then I can't really say that you can do it on yourself
Okay.
because I mean, I've been learning it for 5 years and it's just it's a lifelong journey. You always, because every person is different, is it's just tips. For example, I mean, the points, I mean, I have a Facebook group. If anyone is interested, go and follow and join the group. I try to share as much information, which is helpful information. There is one, for example, I'm happy to share, and it's an easy thing. So there is a point here under your nose between here. So that point, if you press this point, it helps with a lot of things. It's a story coming to it. So there was a game in China when kids were playing and it was just catching each other, right? So they were playing with a broom and one of them hit the other one so strong that the other kid just laid down and someone else gone there, another child, and they just press this point, so just between your lips and your nose, and press this point, and the child got up. And then I heard it from my friend. I have a friend in Australia. She has a very disabled child, and then she's getting epileptic. How do you call it? You know the
Spells like
epilepsy.
spells, or yeah,
So she sees it
tremors,
when it's coming
seizures,
on her. So she just
seizures.
tells her to breathe, and then she was told to press this point. And when she does that, so often she doesn't get to that epileptic attack. And then when I was talking to her, she said, "Oh, now I know. I mean, it makes sense." But she just heard it from someone. So it's just this point, pressing this point can actually save lives. So it can bring someone back if someone is unconscious or something like this. Just pressing this point can be a big help.
Oh,
And it's
wow.
just different. This is what we're trying to do, just share different tips. For example, headaches. When you have headache here, that's most of the time your gallbladder. Yeah, when you have headaches at the back and then the top, that's your liver or behind your eyes. So many people saying that the back of the eyes hurts. That's always something to do with your liver. When your forehead hurts, that's stomach. So it's just these kind of things which are different. But you know the pressure points I use, when you press in those points and it hurts, is never good. So that means there is a blockage on that energy channel. It's just hard to show points. But for example, this one in between here is
Here.
your large intestine. So if you press in this point, but you have to press it quite hard. And if it hurts, any point which hurts is no good.
What does it mean? What would it mean?
That there is a blockage on that energy channel. So what we say is you have to massage that point to the point it hurts for like a week, and then the energy will start flowing properly, and then it will heal. People with headaches and migraines, this is the gallbladder. The meridian goes alongside of your face, plus it goes along your side of your leg. So I don't know if you see, but there
Yeah.
is a point. So when you stand up, where your hand is touching your thigh on the side of your leg. If you press that point, so many people just really hurt. And that means their gallbladder is not working. They're probably not having breakfast properly, which is very important. It's a lot of things. And this is what we say is so many people can't have the treatment or can't do what's right because they're lacking on the knowledge. So in China, they are teaching these practical tips and tricks which keeps you healthy, and is more like keeping you healthy rather than
curing or
curing.
treating after the fact. That makes so much sense. And our bodies are amazing machines, and they forgive so much when you treat them well.
Those pressure points definitely help though too. So I've used those over the years, and along with the fascia blaster and stuff. But I love all the knowledge you're giving. Eva does have a full website too. So
let me share one thing, which is so many people are not aware. So many people don't drink enough water. Yeah, it's a very basic thing, but 70% of our body is water. 90% of your blood is water. So what we say is 3 to 4 deciliter per 10 kilograms. So let's say someone is 60 kilograms. That's a good 2 liter of water. Yes. A 2 liter of water where you should be drinking. And that's water. That's not tea. That's not nothing else. It's water. And never cold water. So cold water, your body needs to, for your body to use the water, it needs to be your body temperature. So when you drink colder water, your body needs to warm that up, and you lose in energy to do that. So just drink. My advice, which anyone can use, is just warm water. Drink warm water.
Warm or room temperature, or warm is better?
It depends who it is and what energy levels are you, but definitely not cold. So room temperature or warm water.
I fail on that because I love ice water.
So I'm okay with everything I ask for is room temperature or no ice. No ice. It affects the chi, the inner energy, digestion, and everything that I've learned so far. So at least that. But warm is better then, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if some people say, then put a little lemon in there, and then it's. But you can get used to it. I drink quite warm water, like I do normal filtered water, and then boiled water on top, so it makes it very warm. You can get used to it, but it doesn't matter, just water. So many people do not drink water, and that in itself, it heals a lot of things.
Yeah. I drink a lot of water. It's just cold, so.
Now you need to elevate the experience.
I don't know. But that was what was different, because here we have our fresh our fresh well water, right? But when we were in Florida, I had to buy water. So it was totally different, because you find yourself not drinking as much when you have to buy it, because their water tasted horrible. I'm sorry, but your water tastes horrible, Florida.
So,
but when you have to buy water, you have a tendency, or you're traveling, you have a tendency to drink less than you normally would, I think.
So and when you're traveling, it's different, But these pressure points there is another one which is quite common. So it's under your collarbone. I don't know how much it shows, but at the corner of your collarbone, that's your stomach point. So if you press that point and it hurts.
It hurts like the Dickens. There you go.
So just massage it. Both sides.
Oh, wow.
And then it's another thing which, so many people have stomach meridian issues, and they will have the ones who have knee problems, because the meridian goes through your knee, and it actually goes through your breast and your nipples. And it's many times that's the cause of breast cancer, which not really sound logical, but if you fix your stomach meridian and your digestion, then you're helping yourself.
Amen. Oh my goodness. So
But this is
is
not
it
to scare anyone.
one side more than I have stomach problems, so
I
that's
do too. So,
so one
We
side
all
more than
do,
the other or either?
both of them. I
uh,
mean, yes, we all have stomach problems because nowadays what you eat is not what you meant to have in your food, right? So that's another very good thing to do is to have your own stuff because I'm not advertising anything, but when you buy things in the shop, God knows what's in there, right?
I have to agree with that because when we were down, you try to eat because you're eating out for almost every meal. And some places you could tell were more from scratch than other, even though you try to go to the nice restaurants. But it's like immediately when we got back home, I mean, you can just feel our bodies just like I cook from scratch. And so everything's healthy. And it's amazing how I start feeling better just being home by the foods I eat. Because when
And
I'm
it's
on
just
vacation, a
even,
lot of times you don't get that. So it's hard, even though you try to buy a few things here and there, but it's just not the same.
and this is another thing, what we say is nowadays your dining table is far away from nature, right? Which doesn't help. So when you go back and you eat raw and you eat what you plant, right? And you have your own chicken, you know what's in there. When you buy the chicken in the shop, yeah. So we all have stomach issues, trust me.
Yeah,
Yes.
and irritable bowel syndrome or yeah, leaky gut, all that, and bloating and all that. So
It's just
I
things what we put in our body is very different than it was 50 years ago. And
yeah.
everyone now is not a question of if we need any vitamins. The question is what vitamins and how much,
Hmm.
Right.
because it's not going to be in your carrot what it was 50 years ago. And your body does need those minerals and nutrients. Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
people don't realize the difference from when you grow it, especially if you grow the organic seeds and stuff. Just the smells. It's like I can tell that's just between the smell and the taste of my potatoes in the potatoes out of the field. It's like I'll be cooking them for like I save some for like Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving. And my daughter, she's like, "Oh, those are from the garden, aren't they? I can smell the difference." Or the
Mhm.
fresh tomatoes. There's just
The ones
it
from the store smells like
aroma,
pesticide. Pesticide.
right?
Yeah.
Or they have no smell, or they're green,
Hmm.
or something, and that's really sad because you really and the other way, it's something's like the ingredients in some of your breads and different things. It's like when you make homemade bread, there's at the most I think I've ever used, and that was maybe cinnamon rolls, is maybe a third or a fourth a cup of sugar in your cinnamon roll dough. But most doughs don't have that. Right now, I use the flour and yeast from Italy because it's all organic and it does a better job. So even those ingredients are different than they used to be. And the taste is amazing.
Yeah. Well, look at the time. It's just
Oh
so
yeah,
fun,
we
and
gotta
you've shared
go.
so much good stuff. Oh my goodness. So thank you so much. And now people know where to find you in the UK. Thank you so much for everything, all the information. And yes, we're gonna take care of ourselves. Thanks for
Yes.
bring that into our awareness in nature or learning more about meridians and maybe doing some pressure points so that we get to know our body better and be healthier.
Well,
And
and I'm going to throw this out there. If you join our patron account, you're going to get recipes and different ideas and be able to meet with us at least once a month, where we're going to talk about different things and answer your question. And of course, we share even more stuff when we are on retreats and different adventures. And I just want to say thank you, though, to Eva and everybody watching now and who will watch later. Be sure to share and like, and we appreciate you. And Lori and I are actually going on to be interviewed here with Lisa and Corey here in another hour or so. And next week, we have another amazing guest that you guys have requested. We had some problems with the network last time when we were trying to have her on, and she's graciously said, "Hey, yeah, I'll come back." But we're going to be kind of talking on the same thing, like Eva says, about your health for the new year. So be sure to join us. So did I miss anything, Lori?
No, but there's a parent-teen retreat coming up in January or in March. We are excited about that. And if you have questions, let us know. We'll have the answers.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day. Great week. Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Eva.
Bye.